right into it. Got the up ramp all done, welded out. So it's a couple more braces in there and cross beams, but basically all done. Hopefully get this thing timbered out and then we'll try it and see what it goes like, and then we'll start sort of setting it up on the ute. Late arvo. Pretty nice sunset though. It's been a bit of an ordinary day. I haven't filmed too much. I've had a couple of pretty bad days, so thought I'd at least give you an update. So as you can see, front end's all blown apart. Did a fair bit of it yesterday before it got dark. So it's all stripped back. All the wiring's just hung in the centre for the moment. So now I can clean up the chassis, just give that a coat of black as far back as I can. And then I'll do probably the bottom front half of the cab. And then I can get to the firewall, prime that up, get that ready for paint. Partway through this COVID shit. There's no COVID out in the shed, so that's where we are. So, just been doing a bit of painting. It's not really the funnest job, but ramps are basically sorted. While I'm waiting for paint to dry, the old man and I ended up buying ourselves a stud welder off eBay, or a dent puller, spot welder, whatever you want to call it. But looks like a pretty good unit. So I've just assembled the star end on here with a slide attachment. You've also got the other slide for the extras. You'll see that in a bit. Pretty compact machine. 240 volt. Standard amp earth on it. So no need for adapter leads and shit, which is good. So it also comes with this box of stuff. This is what the other slide hammer's for. So you've got the hook run. So if you put a heap of the bits on the panel, you want to pull it all out at once. Hook this on, and it'll pull the whole lot up at once. Got a couple of spares in there, a few more stars, a couple of hook attachments there. I think these are thermal lancing rods. I've never used them. Don't know if I'll ever will. You got the squiggly wire as well, so that works with the hooks. You just spot at the bottom onto the panel, and then you just pull the whole lot up. I used that a bit back when I was panel beating and that. You've also got the suction cup. Probably good for unblocking your dunny or something. So it come with this thread. It's meant to have a magnet earth on it usually, but I don't have that tonight. So I ended up just using the old earth clamp off me old earth lead off this welder. Bolting it up, cleaning it up a bit so it'll earth properly. Just fed it through so it should do the job for the night. So what I've done is you've seen I stripped the front of the truck, so now I've got the bonnet there. As you can see, it's not a bad bonnet. It's just had a bit of damage here, up in the middle there, and just a couple of whoops here and there. So what I'm going to do is give it a go on this panel. So I'll bare metal where it's dented, and then set it up on the bench there, and just slowly work those dents out. Also got the inner guards in that as well, radiator panel. I need a bit of hammering around as well. I know they're inside, but obviously old mate got a bit shitty one time and the hinges didn't work, and yeah, just looks a bit fucked and it's a little bit bent too. So I'll clean them up as well, get them painted. I got that bonnet in, started cleaning it up. So cleaned all around there, found one rust hole, actually had filler over it, so dodgy bastards. So I just got the wire wheel, got most of it off, and then just cleaned the metal right up with the Orbi, with some 120 on it. Sprayed shit everywhere. Anyway, I've cleaned up best I can. It's got all this sort of pitting in there, just because it has gone to that. That's just what happens when you leave things bare metal like that, scratched or no paint on there. So most will probably freak out about that, but hopefully the machine will be able to pull through that stuff. If not, I'm going to have to scratch it more. And then all I do is I'll Fahrenheit it and then coat it. Again, this ain't no show job. When you're doing this, not saying I know what I'm doing, but a lot of the time if there's a dent, when you're doing this, you've got to try and reverse the dent out kind of the same way it went in a way. So when you push it in, where it moved next, you got to back that out and sort of work your way to back flat again. You don't just go straight to the middle. If there's something else sort of up here, holding it sort of in that shape. So like here, you wouldn't just go straight on in that hole there and go to town. What you do is you sort of work your way around and then you start bringing that up. That's high there, so you tap that down at the same time if you can and try and bring it up, because when that's gone in, that's gone up, so you're trying to reverse it the same way it's sort of happened. That's sort of my opinion anyway, from when I've had to do it in the past. But I'll fix that rust hole as well. It's probably the only downfall of the bonnet. The inside I'll just have to clean up as best I can, treat it, and then I'll get that painted too, because what I'm going to try and do is get the bonnet, the radiator panel, the inner guards all in the colour I want, same with the firewall. So basically I can bolt all that back together and then I can start looking at, setting things up, putting the radiator in, motor, all that sort of stuff. And then even if we get it driving, it means that we can drive it somewhere in a better position, paint the cab, all that sort of shit. So
straight up shit is real, and any day could be your last in the jungle. Get murdered on the humble, guns are blast, niggas tumble. The corners is the hot spot full of mad criminals who don't care. Guzzling beers, we all stare at the out-of-towners. They better break north before we get the 4-pounders and take their face off. The streets is filled with undercovers, homicide chasing brothers. The D's on the roof trying to watch us and knock us and kill the coppers, even come through in helicopters. I drink a little vodka, spark a L and hold a Glock for the fronters. Wanna be ill niggas and spot runners, thinking it can't happen till I trap them and clap them and leave them done. Won't even run about guards, I don't believe in none of that shit. Your facts are backwards. Nas is a rebel of the street corner, pulling the tech out the dresser. Police got me under pressure.
Good bullshit and say it's spot on, mint. But like it's pretty good. Hell of a lot better than what it was. Of course, it's probably not the flashiest way. Like you can see, it's fairly ripply there, just from where the high bits I've pulled. You can go back over with it and just get really finicky with it, or some people use like a shrinking disc, just like a metal disc on a grinder, like a 7-inch or whatever. I think they do 5s, and that pulls all the lows up and levels the panel up. But you saw the dent there. Well, that's probably one little small hole there, but I'm not even going to bother. You saw that big dent that was there on the front. It's creased down here. There had a bit of a crease. There's a dent there. Pulled one out here as well. Probably a slight low there, but yeah, if I feel like it, I might do. That one there, I can just fill it, we'll go over that one. But yeah, so that's basically for what that's worth. Fixed all that. And the other problem with a lot of panels too, and this is the other reason why, if you've seen my Corolla, the roof's all cactus on it, paint's shit, because it's got two dents in it, one on each side, right at the corner of the roof, and it's all behind the roof structure. So the problem is you can't get to it with a hammer and dolly, straighten it out. So I've just had to leave it, and I've been trying to look for one of these machines for ages. So that's why the roof looks shit. I haven't painted it yet, but now we've got this machine, I can get into it. The same with here, you can't get in behind that because there's a panel there. So that's the beauty of having this machine, is you can get away with straightening out areas that you can't get to. So I've just got to do this dent now. Well, it's more of a crease. It's kind of a hard one, but I'll get into it and try and figure it out. Topside was looking good, coming together alright, until I rolled it over, and yeah, it kind of went to shit. So what this bonnet was doing was it was trying to rust itself from the inside out. That's what these bonnets do. Ford don't treat anything inside, so basically what you can't see rusts. Also the skins together, they rust at the back, they rust underneath the sides, the front's the worst, everything runs down there, can't go anywhere, eats away. You would have seen that with the bonnet off that cab there. Managed to save this one, so basically all the way along the front I've had to resurrect. So I filled all the holes in, and it's probably not the best way to do it. It's probably fairly dodgy, but it's not as dodgy as just filling it full of fibre filler and hoping for the best. There was bits down the side, same there, down there, and it was also starting to go underneath there. So I've managed to fix all that. So hopefully that's brought this bonnet back. The bonnet's done. Front's all fixed up around the back, saw it before. Done the inners, straightened them out where they needed to be done. I've ended up welding up all the unnecessary holes as well. Just because I'm already working on them, I might as well clean them up. Plus, the more holes, that was the problem with my truck as well. Had a shit ton of holes and just always dirty, dirt and shit inside the engine bay. And so I've noticed with the Datsun, with it sort of sealed off and there's no holes in there, it's always a lot cleaner. So I've just got to sand them all down and then yeah, get them in the primer. Just got to do the radiator panel as well, get that sorted out first. But slowly coming together. So the only reason I put the primer on there is in case anything happens, I can't get out here for a while. Everything doesn't just go rusty. Last major panel for the front end is this radiator panel. Just started cleaning it up now, getting the heavy rust and all that sort of shit off it. Also, when old mate's pulled the motor out, obviously he's just hooked it onto his four-wheel drive or something and just gone to town. So yeah, this panel here was all mangled up, broke all the spot welds, so it wasn't even attached really. So done some new ones in there, a couple of stitches as well, done the same here just so it's nice and solid now. So fix that up. Also this hole here actually has a clip for, I think it's the grill. Yeah, it was actually torn open and not there, so all I've done is just fix that up, made it one piece. Pretty heavily pitted here, as you can see, but still fairly solid there. A few holes down here, so I've just fixed them up, dodgy work, but should be good enough. So I'll get in to clean it all up and get it ready for some primer. And then once it's in primer, I'll probably seam seal it. And then, yeah, hopefully get it ready to put some paint on.
Double R beats on the instrumental.
guards done, radiator panel done, all the other small panels. These headlight mounts, not getting too spirited with that. They're just going to get epoxy mastic over the top anyway. So also had to do the latch because it had this weird looking shit on there. So what I ended up doing was I had 2 moon-shaped spanners. Had them for a different idea on something else, but the size wasn't right, so all I've done is I've welded them together and welded them to the bottom of the latch. So as you can see, works fairly well. It's no good, I was getting a latch, but I reckon that'll work fine. And it's in the direction that the old original setup would have been. It's not sticking straight forwards like that was. So I thought I'd do that while I'm cleaning all that stuff up. So the bonnet hasn't been done, I'll do that later on. And whip into that, get all that cleaned up. And I'll just get all the underside ready for, well, prime it at least. So the primer we're using is not really automotive primer, but sort of the same build. So what we're using is Duopon P14. It's a 2-pack epoxy zinc phosphate primer. All that fancy stuff. Fucking shit everywhere. So anyway, this is sort of kind of like your all you need primer that's been out lately, and your resto finish. They've sort of got the same stuff in them as well. I haven't used too much of this. I've usually used like the single pack Lux Prime UMP. It's a good primer, shit sand, but if you want to hold anything down, yeah, that's the way to go. This is a 2-pack primer, so probably a lot better, a lot sturdier than a 2-pack. So I'll put that on, and that'll be basically this whole truck getting done in that. And then what we're doing is the Hempel epoxy mastic under the guards, front of the radiator panel, under the cab, floor of the cab, probably the floor of this cab too, because it's a good, really sort of heavy duty paint that won't really shift. So, and then what we're doing with the top coat is, a few might cringe, but what we're using is the Luxisane in the claret. So basically same colour as my trailer. Didn't really do that on purpose. What sort of was decided was we needed a colour. We weren't painting it white. Fuck white. So the old man had a tin of the red already, because originally his old trucks, when he had his business, for the dark red colour as well. Sort of why I've always been keen on the darker reds. So what we're going to do is use the old tin on the engine bay, door jambs, all that sort of stuff, and then I'll buy some more for the outside and everything. So that's sort of the colour. And being a tow truck, like, it's not a show vehicle, and just a good heavy coat of something nice, lay it on, try and get it sort of glossy, should do the trick. Also, the clear coat that I've used for the Datsun and the Corolla, it's also industrial, can go over the top, so that's going to work out pretty well. It's another hot day, another day of testing. There you go, she's all set up. Just got a couple of bits of steel at the bottom for the moment, but I'll chase that up tomorrow. This is what we got. Yeah. So that's what you'll see at Cruise of the Pines. Plus this bloke's rough lid. Surprising. Actually, yeah, bootsy pretty well over the back of the ute, so just got to get some bits of 3mm sort of sheet for the bottom. But yeah, it's good to finally get a job fairly complete. And speaking of jobs, still going on this truck. So my fingers are basically trashed now. It's all sort of sanded back, got all the shitty paint off. You sort of, the prep on it wasn't that great. So that purpley sort of beigey colour was just falling off basically. So it's all sanded back. I Fahrenheited where it was sort of a little bit rusty. I sanded most of that out best I can. And sort of the best I can do without getting the thing blasted. And yeah, with this job I'm not really going to focus on getting that done anyway, so hopefully the primer should hold it in anyway, so I've got it basically ready to paint or prime. Radiator panel, inner guards also. So I'll mix up some paint and yeah, get into spraying it.
Move with a cynical move through the physical. Tunes of the lyrical who've moved to spirit ill. New shit is minimal. Usually critical suits shoot to kill all the true tunes. It's pitiful. And music isn't all shit, but it's too divisional. With horrorcore to shock you or dudes that'll lose their dick and balls. In tight jeans, both one and each view is despicable. Bitch until it seems they're both more suited to doing the dishes chill. Me, I cruise through the middle, then bruise and belittle the stupid or sinister musical sinners. I do this, you finish choosing a biblical mood when I cripple you brutally sticking that crucifix into your cruciate link. Skewed and disfigured, I swoop with the swiftness of super slick ninjas and suture your lips with some super strength stitches to soothe all the listeners you abuse with your shitness. Stop hating and make more creative music, you dick.
Primer's on. So laid it on fairly thick. Good, because it's probably going to give me a bit of build to work with. And this paint laid on pretty well, so pretty happy with that. Used a couple of litres, but did paint a fair bit of stuff, so radiator panels also come up not too bad. So seeing it was all sort of beaten up rusty shit, you know, a few days ago. It's not bad progress. I just wanted it to get it to a point where it's at least sealed, so now I won't be fretting as much. Now I've got to do the firewall on that, but to do that I've got to set up a shelter. This thing's sitting outside. I can't really work on it. Sort of just out in the open. Can't do painting and all that sort of shit. I've just been seam sealing this radiator panel using just your Sigaflex 527. It's a hybrid body sealant, whatever it is. Car sealant, same shit. So done all the gaps in the panels, as you can see around there. Like, it's not the flashiest job, a couple of edges there. I know you meant to sort of run a wet finger and it makes it a lot nicer, but this is a tow truck, not a show truck. So I seam sealed all the edges and all the joins just to stop the moisture from getting between the panels, because the paint doesn't always get in there, but the moisture will. So at least if it's sealed up, it won't get in there. Also, it won't bleed out from there. Usually see like rust marks coming out from between seams and that. That's what I sort of want to avoid. So seam seal it, and then I've left the holes open on the bottom, and I'll feed like the cavity wax or a Fisherline or some homebrew up there, stop it from rusting inside out. So I'll get the black Hempel on this now, because yeah, I've got work in the morning and I want to try and get it on and at least half sealed and cured before the weather turns shit. Because also spent up and got myself a heap of sandpaper, so the Cubitron 2 3M stuff. Just got in the reels, it's pretty handy. Just reel it out, tear it, go. So yeah, 80, a couple of 120s, 240 and a 400. If there's a nicer job you might go a bit finer, but also got 320 for the Orbi as well. And then I spent up and got myself a Durablock sanding kit. So I've been wanting one of these for forever. Like, these are around back when I was doing my apprenticeship. And yeah, I've always wanted a set, could never afford a set. But decided to lash out because I'm going to need it Also, the old man needs it for his thing. So it's also the hook and loop. So basically, yeah, just put it on, sticks, tear it off, another strip, go again. A lot of the time you just want it quick and easy, especially when you've been sanding for hours and you're really fucking over it. So yeah, so it should come in pretty handy. Comes with a little soap and that, so that's pretty cool. Round blocks as well, they come in very handy as well. Usually I'm just making them out of pipe or whatever, just whatever I've got laying around. Also, finally here, the new MIG. So yeah, this thing's flash as. Been looking at these for a while. I was going to get like the trolley type, like the original MIG there, but the carry-all ones sort of, if I do have to ever take it anywhere for a job, it's probably going to be a bit easier. At the same time, I can move it around and it's not a big bulky unit like that thing over there. But yeah, pretty happy with it. I just got to get a plug for it. There's a qualified technician's meant to do that, but I'll qualify myself quick enough. And I probably should be putting my money away and, you know, buy 3 investment houses and become a millionaire when I'm 80, but fuck it, buy the shit now, use it, build some cool stuff. So anyway, I'm going to get into painting this stuff now.
Ah shit, I sniffed the coke with them rich folk and spit that sick flow. Yabba dabba doo, she screwed that Flintstone. Fling stone at the rapper that trying to switch flows. Nympho with the hip, she been hanging off hip bones. You've got your ideas different if you bought my business. Keep the bitches on my hips, Siamese sisters. I'm big quitting till I find these riches. If you heard I'm giving up, Chinese whispers, since 16 was me in like 16, spitting 5/16. This boy can spit me.
Black went on pretty well. It's glossed right up. Not sure if it'll dull off overnight. Again, it's not perfect conditions for painting, but yeah, it had to be done. Probably because I'm more impatient than anything. But inner guards come up alright as well. The biggest thing is just protection, because all the shit flies up in there and just get hammered. So a good high filled primer and paint, yeah, will make it last. So also this stuff's all painted up, even inside there where it's all rusty and shit. Under there, catch as well. So yeah, pretty happy with how that's turned out. So we've got 2 new front guards turning up. Not sure about the repo stuff, but this is a good trial, and at the same time, the time you take repairing old shit, it's not worth it. In some cases, if you get a set of guards for next to nothing, they are good, yeah, go for it. But if you got like the guards on this thing, front of the right hand one, bottom's gone, so then you get to rebuild it. They're both kinked, smashed, so new set of guards, yeah, it's $500 worth. All I gotta do now, hopefully, is sand them, get them in primer. They get a little bit of filler, we'll do that when I do the whole outside. But the majority of it is done. And then when they turn up, and I'll get the chassis ready, I'll do the insides of the guards and the chassis in the black. And then that means that I'm not mixing up little bits and having to clean the gun all the time. I just do it in one hit and use, yeah, say 800 mils like what I did here. It's probably almost too much. So that's the plan anyway. But anyway, it's not 4 o'clock in the morning for once, so time to go to bed.